Hello friends, good morning and welcome to EduSat live lectures. Dear friends, today we are going to talk about film appreciation, and in film appreciation we are going to talk about socio-economic and cultural perspective of Mahesh Bhatt's movies. To discuss this topic, we have with us our subject expert Dr. Manoj Sharma. Dr. Sharma is Assistant Professor in the Department of History in Kirodumal College, University of Delhi. Without further ado, I would like to welcome sir to our studios and request him to start the lecture. Welcome sir.
Thank you. Very good morning to all the viewers. Today's topic of discussion is socio-economic and cultural perspectives in the films of Mahesh Bhatt. As we have discussed in the past, the various filmmakers like V. Shantaram, Raj Kapoor, and thereafter some other contemporary filmmakers as well, like Prakash Jha, and how their cinema, their films, they have tried to show the socio-economic and the various cultural perspectives, not only from the viewpoint of the filmmaker, but at the same time the kind of things which are happening in the society which are quite contemporary, they have been reflected in that kind of cinema. Mahesh Bhatt is one such filmmaker who became quite popular because he borrowed some of the important aspects which were being shown in the films from his own personal life, and he was quite experimental from that perspective. He is a bold filmmaker from this perspective, that he borrowed from his life experiences and translated them into the cinema, and those films which were being borrowed from his life experiences, they were able to left quite an important mark on the audience. One of his famous films called Earth is now being remade by a Pakistani filmmaker called Shan Malik, and the rights they have been purchased from Mahesh Bhatt. So it is some sort of a modern retake on that story which was made by Mahesh Bhatt, which was based on extramarital relations and how the kind of problems which are there in the family life or in the married life. So these were some of the problems, they were there in the society in 1980s as well, and thereafter these kind of problems they have multiplied. Mahesh Bhatt also made a film called Zakhm, which was dealing with the issue of communal harmony in the garb of an individual perspective, and Mahesh Bhatt he claimed and admitted that his mother was basically a Muslim, and how he, being an illegitimate child, was able to appreciate those kind of concerns where his father was juggling between two houses, and though he fulfilled all the kind of responsibilities his father had, but Mahesh Bhatt, he personally felt the kind of trauma a child would have in that context when he will be asked by his schoolmates that why his father is not living with him. So these kind of personal experiences shaped the kind of films which were being made by Mahesh Bhatt, and at the same time some other films which became not only quite popular in 1980s but thereafter as well. For example, Sadak, which he made in 1990s. These films were also trying to grapple with the kind of problems which are there in the society. So from that perspective, when we see that the kind of cinema which Mahesh Bhatt has made, it is not only dealing with the kind of ordinary things which are happening in day-to-day life, but at the same time from 2000 onwards in the 21st century, where he has not directed films but rather he is writing film scripts, and these film scripts are basically thrillers and quite erotic in content, and this kind of a cinema basically is a money spinner for the film production company which is owned by Mahesh Bhatt. So what we have seen that over the years Mahesh Bhatt has reinvented himself. He has gone with the kind of changes which are taking place within the film industry, as we could see that from 1991 onwards, with the phase of liberalization, globalization and privatization, economy was opening up to various kind of experimental things. The film finance approach was also changing. The arrival of the multiplex, it was also contributing in a way to the filmmakers that they should experiment, and in that context Mahesh Bhatt also wrote certain films which were catering to a particular kind of audience, and that audience will see those kind of films in multiplexes which were comparatively smaller theatres, unlike the earlier theatres which used to have a huge capacity. So, these films, basically the later films, they were comparatively small budgeted films, and the star cast was comparatively new, and they came on the floors within a very comparatively shorter duration of time, because of which their budgets were also very low, and they were able to make remarkable profits as well. So, from that perspective, Mahesh Bhatt has left some kind of a remarkable influence on the Indian cinegoers. When we try to see the kind of the beginning of his life from 1948 onwards, when he was born, and later he turned into a director, producer as well as a screenwriter. Mahesh Bhatt's personal life, when we will talk about his first wife Kiran, was born Lauren Bright, and Anubha Swani has talked about him, and his romance with her was inspiration for his film Ashiki. Ashiki was released in 1990s, and this film became quite popular, and Mahesh Bhatt has been making films taking insights from his personal life. So, what we have seen is that the various kind of themes, and these kind of themes are ranging from communal harmony to extramarital affairs to complexities in the relationships, and how over a period of time what we have seen that because of the coming of so much technology, the human relationships, they have become more and more complex, and these kind of complexities in recent times could also be attributed not only to the technology, but at the same time the kind of changes which are coming with the arrival of education, the kind of changes which are coming because of the arrival of the globalization, and how globalization has brought an impact on the individual lives. Mahesh Bhatt, he says that U.G. Krishnamurti, an important philosopher, was his lifeline, and he says that take him away and I am empty. So, Mahesh Bhatt from that perspective is quite philosophical as well, when he says that if you take the guidance away of U.G. Krishnamurti from him, then he will become empty. So, that kind of philosophical streak where he is ready to take bold decisions with regard to the kind of films which he is making, where he is ready to stand by what he is trying to make, and at the same time he is also making a plea to the society that society should also become bold enough to accept these kind of themes, these kind of happenings which are taking place in the day to day lives of the people, and if these kind of things they are being translated on the screen, then they should be readily accepted by the audience. He made a film called Lahu Ke Do Rang in 1979, in which Vinod Khanna played the double role, in which you will find Danny, Helen and Shabana Azmi. And what is being shown as that Vinod Khanna is part of INA, Indian National Army, which was started by Subhash Chandra Bose before independence in 1940s, and when he was part of that army, he had to move from Japan to Hong Kong, and thereafter when he was in Hong Kong, he meets a girl called Helen. Though Vinod Khanna was already married to a woman in India, but later there he also falls in love with Helen, and he promises to bring her back to India when he comes to India, but he is being killed by one of the villains played by Ranjit. And what you will see is that he has two sons. One is another Vinod Khanna, who is played by Vinod Khanna, who becomes an inspector, and the other one is played by Danny. And both these sons, when the other son Danny, who is in Hong Kong, he comes to India for some reason, he wants to seek revenge from the person who has inflicted this kind of life on his mother. So, these kind of some kind of chance encounters they take place between the two characters, two protagonists, and they are able to realize the kind of revenge which both they had to take because their father was killed. So, what we have seen that this film became quite popular during that particular period, and both of them they are able to seek revenge from Ranjit as well. And Helen was given the Filmfare Award for the best supporting actress for this film. So, she was this was her first award which was given to her. Another film which I would like to talk about is Earth, which was made in 1982. It was a semi autobiographical film and which talks about the extramarital relationships with a famous film actress. And this film was bold in content and was given adult certificate by CBFC, or the Central Board of Film Certification. It raised the issue of gender equality. When you go to the story, as I have already told you that the film rights of this film, they have been bought by a Pakistani filmmaker, and the film has been made from a new perspective, but the original content of the film remains the same. And the story goes like this, that Kulbhushan Kharbanda, he is having an affair with Smita Patil, and he has some kind of disregard for his wife, played by Shabana Azmi. And the character of Shabana Azmi, as shown in the film, is quite strong. She is not ready in any way to accept the kind of treatment which is being given to her by her husband, and she is ready to fight for her own rights. And she voluntarily decides that she will not now not live with her husband now, and she moves out of the house. And what happens later is that she also decides that she will take care of the maid's daughter, because one of her maids who were working at her own house, she is being imprisoned for some reason, and now the maid wants that her daughter should be educated. So she takes up that kind of a responsibility, that she will make a girl educated, and she refuses the kind of apartment which is being given by her husband, so that she can sustain. So she also rejects the proposal of Raj Kiran, who is a friend in the film and who plans to marry Shabana Azmi. So she is strong enough to sustain herself, and she says that if she will marry Raj Kiran, then she will not be able to fulfill her responsibility in the context which she has decided for the girl. And finally, when there is a lot of problem in the life of Smita Patil as well, because she is full of guilt, she feels responsible for breaking the home of Kulbhushan Kharbanda and Shabana Azmi, and because of her guilt, now she has all those kind of problems with which Kulbhushan Kharbanda is not able to adapt. So these kind of things which are there in the personal relationships, they are being exhibited in the film. And Shabana Azmi also finds some kind of a new meaning in her own life, and she comes out of the kind of insecurity which she has developed over a period of time, because of the kind of insecurity which was generated because of the kind of relationship which she shared with her husband. And the guilt of Smita Patil, in which she was responsible for breaking the marriage of these two characters, and she is also very insecure about the kind of things which were happening in their own personal lives with regard to her husband, and now she breaks up with Kulbhushan Kharbanda. Mahesh Bhatt, he argues that the film looked at the issue of women's emancipation from a new perspective. So the issue of women's emancipation and women empowerment, which have been quite burning issues, not only during 1980s but from the earlier times, they have been reflected in this kind of cinema. And the movement of various women characters, in the sense that women, they had to fight for their own rights, and these kind of movements, they have been there since the colonial times in India. When the British, they were ruling India, the condition of the women was comparatively, in terms of the various social evils, was very poor, and from that perspective, various social and religious reformers, they wanted to reform the religion, so that the kind of social problems which were there in the society, they could be done away with. For example, like sati, widow remarriage was not there, then female infanticide. So all these kind of problems, polygamy, women, they were not being educated, child marriage. So all such problems with which were related to the women, some of the social religious thinkers, they wanted to reform that strata of society where you will find such problems. And later initially men they were responsible, who became the social reformers, and later in the later half what we see that some of the women reformers they also came to the forefront. So, what we have seen is that such kind of movements which are related to the emancipation of women, they have some kind of a history during the colonial times, and after that also these kind of things which were only affecting some of the upper classes. And what about the lower class women, those who were being exploited? So, all the women they had to come to one platform. So, this kind of a platform would only be given if the movement will be horizontal, and the Constitution of India gave the right of universal suffrage to all the members, and women as members of the society, they had the equal rights in vis-a-vis men, as they were given the right to freedom to decide, right to freedom to vote, right to equality, all such kind of rights they were being given. But when you see all these things not from the legal point of view, but from the daily perspective, the kind of exploitation women they face, not only from a society but in their own households, in the context of the domestic violence, in the context of the kind of inheritance which they do not have when the sons of the family they get the entire property. So, all these kind of insecurities which come in the lives of women, and these kind of women, those who do not have any kind of professional lives, where they are not able to fend for themselves, where they do not have money for themselves. So, they in a way are dependent on men for their sustenance, and this kind of patriarchal structure of society which is there in India. So, Mahesh Bhatt gives a new perspective to these kind of portrayals, where he puts women at the center, and who is the one who rejects that she will not stay with her husband. So, this kind of a perspective was comparatively new to the Indian cinema, which was not seen earlier. Another film which I would like to talk about is Naam, which was made in 1986. There was a popular song Chitti Aayi Hai, written by Anand Bakshi and sung by Pankaj Udhas, and it was selected as one of the 100 songs of millennium by BBC Radio. Sanjay Dutt's dream of making big abroad in this film, and his brother is Kumar Gaurav, who is quite supportive, and how finally when Sanjay Dutt goes abroad, how he is cheated there, and it also shows the threat from international smugglers. So, all these kind of aspects where an individual who is going out, as you can see in India there are so many people, those who are they are living across the world, those who are living in different parts of the world, and how these people they feel homesick in that context. The film is able to bring out that kind of relationship between the two brothers, and at the same time the kind of feeling one has when one is away from home. So, this film became quite popular in 1980s. It was a blockbuster, and this song also became quite popular. Another film which will always remain contemporary from the perspective of the emotions is Daddy, which was made in 1989. Daddy was a film in which Pooja Bhatt was the main lead, and the kind of relationship she shares with her father Anupam Kher, though initially she was not aware that her father is alive. She shares a relationship with him, and in the later part she comes to realize that the kind of relationship which she has with Anupam Kher is her real father. So, the kind of emotions which were being shown in the film, they were quite relevant from that perspective, that these kind of emotions are from day to day lives, and they also try to relate the kind of sensitivity which is there in such kind of relationships, but at the same time the kind of complexities which were being involved in this kind of a story, this kind of a narrative was also being shown. The story of the film narrates that Pooja is being raised by the grandparents, and in the film what we also see is that the reasons for the alcoholism of the father, they are being also shown, and how because of such problems they are not able to have a very wholesome kind of a relationship. And finally, with the help of her daughter, with the kind of support he gets from her daughter, he is able to overcome such kind of issues which were there in his life. So, all these kind of issues which were quite contemporary, and these kind of issues which could also be seen in the lives of many households in India. The question of alcoholism, which is quite rampant in many of the families, and how this kind of an issue leads to the kind of broken homes sometimes, or maybe some kind of a change in the nature or the character of the younger children in the family. So, all these kind of aspects they have been beautifully brought out by Mahesh Bhatt in the film. Another film called Kash, which was made in 1987, was also an important film in the context that Jackie Shroff and Dimple Kapadia, they were playing a married couple in the film, and they face some sort of a crisis in their married life after a bankruptcy and some sort of a marriage failure, and how they were in the process of getting separated, and how they reunite because of their child who has been diagnosed with a brain tumor. So, all these kind of issues they have been tackled in a very realistic manner in this film, and how the couple they handle this painful reality has also been shown. At the same time, the kind of adjustments one has to undergo in a relationship of marriage, they have also been pointed out in the film. But in the end, what is the crux of the film is that the emotions of the parents, how they surpass everything, the kind of problems which husbands and wife they encounter in their daily lives as well, was also reflected in the cinema in the form of the two characters, and how the two characters they overcome all the problems they have had in the past. Now they want to unite for their kid, because the kid has been diagnosed with a disease in which the kid will not survive. So, they are trying to give everything what they have, and in the process the parents they also rediscover their own relationship. They also try to they rediscover not only their relationships, but about each other as well, because over the years their relationship had become stale. So, Mahesh Bhatt was able to portray those kind of nuances which are there in everyday relationships, and both the characters they also received critical reviews from various quarters for their own performances. Film critic Akshay Shah, he says that Kash is an apt depiction of emotions at its highest and finest. It rates alongside Anand, Mili and Khamoshi as one of the best tear-jerking films in Indian cinema. So, what we have, and the great performances by Jackie Shroff and Dimple Kapadia, they were also quite appreciated. So, what Akshay Shah is talking about, he is trying to relate the film with Anand, Mili and Khamoshi. Anand and Mili, both the films they were being made by Hrishikesh Mukherjee, and both the films basically including Khamoshi talk about the theme of death, and how death is imminent in one's life. So, from that perspective, when you try to compare both the films, here the central characters they are parents, and they know that their kid will die. So, the imminence of death is from the perspective of the parents, but in the other films like Anand and Mili, what we will find is that Rajesh Khanna in Anand and Jaya Bhaduri in Mili, both the characters they know that they will not survive, and in spite of that they have this kind of a zing, this kind of a feeling that they have to give their best, they have to live the life to the fullest, and this is what the ideology of both the films is. But the way the films they have been portrayed, the kind of trauma of the other characters, those who are close to the people, those who are going to die, could be compared in that context. So, what we see is that Kash could be seen as some sort of a milestone from that perspective, that it was again dealing with an issue which is imminent for everybody, death which is an imminent aspect. Another film which I like to talk about is Ashiki, which was made in 1990. This film in which you have Rahul Roy, who is the central protagonist, and Anu Agarwal, who has played the role of a female protagonist, and how he is angry with his father for marrying again while his first wife was alive. Anu, played by Anu Agarwal, she runs away from an oppressive girls hostel, and Rahul helps Anu in becoming independent and seeking a job. Being under the impression that Anu helped him with his career, his ego is hurt, and the male ego and jealousy is being reflected in the way that there are certain problems in the relationship. And this film's music was quite popular, and in the end Anu stays behind to renew their relationship. She had this kind of an option to go abroad so that she can further her career, but finally she decides that her relationship with the male protagonist is more important than her career. So the film raises a number of issues, and this film was also inspired by the life of Mahesh Bhatt himself, the kind of feelings he had for his first wife Kiran, Lauren Bright, and he took certain sequences from his own life, and how he tried to use those sequences in the films. And this film music became quite popular. The songs of the film sung by Kumar Sanu, they became quite popular at that point of time, and it broke many box office records, not only in terms of music but also in terms of treatment as well. And the film also raises certain issues, whether a woman, if she is trying to help her male partner, is she committing some kind of a crime? Is she in a way trying to hurt the male ego within the patriarchal setup, or whether she is the one who has to sacrifice for her professional career when Anu Agarwal decides to stay back home. Whether the similar kind of thing would have been done by a male has not been discussed in the film, but the film raises certain questions within the setup which India has. Another film which I would like to talk about is Sadak, which was made in 1991, in which Sadashiv Amrapurkar's character, in which he plays the role of a eunuch who was running a brothel, and how Sanjay Dutt's, who is the central figure in the film, sister is forcibly made a prostitute, and Pooja Bhatt is also found in the same situation as she is being taken to a brothel. And this film also raises certain issues with regard to the position of women in the society, and how the nexus of criminals, how the nexus of politicians, how the nexus of corrupt policemen, because of which these kind of problems are there in the society. As a corrupt policeman played by Pankaj Dheer in the film, he makes the situation worse in the film, and finally the hero played by Sanjay Dutt seeks justice for Pooja Bhatt through violence. So as if the violence is the only solution, and as if the other solutions with which law and order, with which for example law and order, the strict enforcement of the laws, they have become redundant. So the film raises such kind of questions about the position of women, how the male order or the people, those who are associated with such heinous crimes, they are forcing women, they are exploiting women, and at the same time how the law and order machinery, how the regulatory machinery, the administration could be more proactive, could be more responsive to the needs of such people, those who are being in a way stuck in such kind of a situation from which it is very difficult to come out. So if they will get some kind of support from the law enforcement agencies in the form of police, in the form of administration, and some sort of a strong political will which will be exhibited by the politicians, so the situation could be tackled. So the film raises all such kind of issues within the framework of a commercial blockbuster, and this film was also quite popular when this film was released in 1990s. Another film which I would like to talk about is Dil Hai Ki Manta Nahi, which was made in 1991, as you can see on the screen as well, that Gautam Bhaskaran, he says that it was unofficial remake of 1934 Hollywood film It Happened One Night. The story is a very commonplace kind of a story in which Pooja Bhatt is shown in love with the film star, because of whom she runs away from her own home, and the role of the father is being played by Anupam Kher, and Aamir Khan is being shown as a loudmouth journalist, and he offers to help her in exchange for an exclusive story on her which would revive his flagging career. Finally, both of them, they fall in love, and they also get support from Anupam Kher. So it was a very light-hearted kind of a comedy, and at the same time the film was also talking about certain issues with regard to the society as well, that whether it is actually safe for a girl to run away from her own home in pursuit of a person who is a film star in that sense, and who is living a life away from reality. And at the same time the film also raises the issue in the context that whether marriage should take place from the consent of the parents, or the children should decide about their own marriages. As in this film what we find is that Anupam Kher was not ready that his daughter should marry a film star with whom he was not very comfortable, because he felt that their relationship won't work. On the other hand, he is very happy when the other person, who is from the lower strata, as Aamir Khan was, he is ready to marry his own daughter with Aamir Khan in the film. So this film also raises certain important aspects, whether all those issues of upper class boy and lower class girl, or the situation of upper class girl and lower class boy. So this kind of stories which were there, it breaks those kind of shackles in that context. Criminal was a film which was made in 1995 in Hindi as well as Telugu, in which Nagarjun plays the role of a doctor who wants to open a hospital for the poor with the title of Amma Hospital. So the kind of concern which was shown by a doctor in the film to help the poor, that was being shown, and how the film also relates to an event, that how human organ smuggling racket was also operating. So these kind of issues are also quite there in the society, and we read in the newspapers quite often. We also hear from the television channels, the news channels, that such kind of activities are taking place in some of the hospitals across the country, where such kind of rackets which are dealing with the human organs, they are being operating. So this film raises this kind of an issue, where such kind of malpractices which are there in the society, so people, they also become aware about such kind of issues which are taking place in the society, and how in the film the role played by of a policeman, Ramya, she plays the role of a sub inspector, and she helps Nagarjun in implicating the murder of Manisha Koral in the film, who plays the wife of Nagarjun. So this aspect of the positive side of the police force, though in a very different way, that Ramya is in love with Nagarjun, and that is why she is helping the male protagonist, but at the same time this positive aspect of a policeman, a person who is concerned with law enforcement, is also being shown, apart from the kind of the criminal activity which is being shown in the film, that human organ smuggling racket which was being busted in the film. So these kind of issues, when they were being shown to the audience, they created some kind of an awareness at the level of the audience as well, and in a way made them attentive that they should be careful in their lives. Another film which I would like to talk about is Tamanna, which was made in 1997. This film is a film which was quite appreciated, not at the commercial levels, but at the level of the critical acclaim as well, in which Paresh Rawal plays the role of a eunuch, and he takes care of his mother, and Paresh Rawal picks up an abandoned girl and he names her Tamanna, played by Pooja Bhatt, and brings her up on his own with the help of a close friend played by Manoj Vajpayee. He also arranges for education of Tamanna, as you can see on the screen as well, and after her education she returns to find Paresh Rawal as eunuch and rejects him, but later relents. So, what we see that this film is trying to create some kind of an empathy for the third gender. Nowadays these kind of issues which are related to the issue of third gender, they have been raised, and in many of the educational institutions, or it is being sought that there should be a column with regard to the third gender, and their emotions and feelings, they should also be understood by the society, because they are generally being considered as an outcast, they are being excommunicated from the society. So, their concerns, how they will be able to lead their own lives, how some of them, they have recently been elected to the various legislatures, because they have been given this kind of a right, how they should be provided also all sorts of educational facilities, so that they are able to come out of their own situation. And in the film, the role played by Paresh Rawal was quite appreciated, and the sensitivity, the feelings and the emotions and the concerns of the eunuch, they are being also shown in the film, and how the maltreatment of the society leads them towards the criminal activities. Many a times a person who is a very simple person, and how that simple person, when he is being maltreated by the members of the society, may turn into a criminal. That question has also been raised in the film. So, the other concern which has also been raised in the film is the issue of the abandoning of a girl child, that how the society is also not only rejecting the eunuchs, but also it is also abandoning a girl child, for which the eunuch had all sorts of sympathy. This film won the National Film Award for Best Film on Other Social Issues in 1998. So, what we have seen is that this important concern which was raised in 1990s by Mahesh Bhatt is also very important in today's world, and even now many people they are not ready to talk about all such kind of issues about which Mahesh Bhatt raised concerns 18 years back. So, it was some sort of a brave attempt by him to talk about such an issue which was some sort of a taboo for the society. People was not very forthcoming in terms of talking about all such kind of issues which were considered to be some sort of a bane for the society. But at the same time, so many people, those who belong to this kind of a category called the third gender, and how their lives shape up, how they become a part of some kind of illegal activities when they are being rejected by the society, when they are not being brought into the mainstream of the society. They have been portrayed in a very sensitive manner by Mahesh Bhatt in this film. Another film which was quite appreciated was Zakhm, which was made in 1998. The story of the film goes in a way that Ajay Devgan learns that his mother Pooja Bhatt has been burned by a group of rioters while leaving a temple, as she is in a very critical condition. And the flashback of the story shows that Pooja Bhatt is a Muslim and she is secretly married to a Hindu, and she lives as a Hindu, and she wanted that she should have a proper burial, so that she is able to meet her better half in heaven. Two sons played by Ajay Devgan as well as Akshay Anand in the film, and Akshay Anand is in tune with some of the religious elements, and he is being misguided in that context. And finally, when he realizes that his mother was a Muslim and she wanted some kind of a burial and not a cremation, and he finally agrees to it, and he fights for it. So, this is the kind of story which is quite relevant not for 1998, but for all times, because Hindu Muslim unity and communal harmony is a thing which should be there at every time, not only from the perspective of the growth of the human beings for a peaceful environment, which is quite important, but also for the economic development of the country as well, because unless we will have all such initiative with regard to the peace and harmony in the country, then the country will not be able to prosper. And at the same time, the film also raises certain concern with regard to the relations of the Hindus and the Muslims, and how a very insignificant issue which was related to the cremation or burial could also lead to potential riots. So, this film was also trying to relate with the not only Hindu Muslim relations, but the kind of problems which were encountered during the partition riots in 1947 when India became independent. So, such kind of cinema which is dealing with those kind of issues which have been relevant over the years, which have not been relevant in the present context only, but their relevance could be seen from the earlier times. These kind of issues were taken up by Mahesh Bhatt in a very sensitive manner, and this film was not only commercially successful, but also received quite a number of praises from film critics as well as the audience appreciated the film. This film also received the Nargis Dutt Award for Best Feature Film on National Integration, and the film was also talking about that how the divisive tendencies they should be rejected in the society. Another important film of Mahesh Bhatt which became quite popular was Saransh, and this film started the career of Anupam Kher, who was quite young at that point of time, hardly 27, 28 and years old, and he played the character of a person who was more than 60. So, what the kind of portrayal which he could do on the screen and the kind of issues which were being raised in the film, they were also quite relevant. This film was made in 1984 and talks the story of a Maharashtrian couple who were living in Bombay or present day Mumbai, and how they were trying to come to terms with the death of their only son in a mugging incident in New York. The film shows the pain and despair of an elderly couple, and this film was the official submission for the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film, and how there is a girl who is finding accommodation, who is pregnant and carrying an illegitimate child. She is being given some sort of a refuge, played by Soni Razdan, by the elderly couple, and how there is some sort of a stalking and harassment by her lover's father. So, all these kind of things, they are being shown in the film, and the film raised certain important questions. The film in a way tries to explore the anxieties and the loneliness of an elderly couple, and at the same time, when the old couple, they do not have any kind of direction in their life after the death of their son, they are trying to find some kind of a direction in their own life. At the same time, the film also raises the issue of finding unemployment of a retired headmaster played by Anupam Kher, that he is not able to make both ends meet. He does not have that kind of a pension where he is able to support himself in the best possible manner. So, the issue of the old people's usefulness or uselessness to the society has also been pointed out, where even in spite of their ability, they are not able to secure any kind of post retirement employment. Dasgupta has talked about this film, and he says that corruption, politics, crime nexus and also bureaucratic delay, widespread bribery and rat tapeism through the interactions with Anupam Kher with the custom officials and police could be seen in the film. So, what we see is that the film also explores the various societal problems in the form of corruption which is there in the society, the kind of politics and the criminal nexus which was there at that point of time as well, the bureaucratic kind of delay, the delays which was taking place, that Anupam Kher was not able to secure the ashes of his own son, and this kind of a delay in which the people, those who are associated with all those kinds of functions of the society, they are feeling insensitive to the needs of an elderly couple. So, all such kind of societal problems, all such administrative issues, they have been tackled in the film. Another film was Awargi, in which Anil Kapoor, Meenakshi Seshadri and Govinda they played the central characters, and the film was popular for a ghazal which was sung by Ghulam Ali, Chamakte Chand ko Toota Hua Tara Bana Dala. So, this film was talking about an issue, that how a henchman played by Anil Kapoor, who for his own love tries to reform a prostitute played by Meenakshi Seshadri, and he knows that she is a good singer and he wants her to succeed in life. So, this kind of a transformative power of love was being shown in the film, that how the kind of professions in which people are bound, they can come out of their own lives and they can make their lives better. Another film was Sir, which was made in 1993. In which Naseeruddin Shah, he played the title role, and gang wars of two rival gangs that was also being shown in the film, and how Sir, played by Naseeruddin Shah, he tries to bring some sort of a peace to the city, and this film became quite popular and it was a commercial success as well. It was also talking about the kind of issues which are related to the urban living, where gangsters, they make life miserable for the other people, and how a person who is educated, because Naseeruddin Shah lost his son in one such encounter within the city, so he is more sensitive to such kind of problems which are there in the city, and he tries his best so that all such kind of problems they should be done away with. There is another film called Gumraah, which was made in 1993, and this film, what you find is that Sridevi and Sanjay Dutt, they played the central characters, and in this film the issue of international cartels of the drug lords, that has been shown, because Sridevi is shown to be an innocent person who is being implicated in a drug smuggling case, and how she comes out of that case with the help of Sanjay Dutt. So, the portrayal of such kind of activities which may ruin your life and career for the entire period of your existence was being shown in the film, and how the international cartels, they operate, and how the lives of the individuals is just some sort of a number for them. They are not concerned with the lives of the people in any way, and the main objective is to maximize the profits through the illegal activities, was being also shown in the film. There was another film called Gentleman, which was being made, and this film in which Chiranjeevi played the central character, and he is shown as some sort of a Robin Hood kind of a character, as you can see on the screen as well, that he wants to open a school in which everybody would be given some kind of a quality education. So, he has his own business, but at the same time he is also a thief who is trying to collect money so that he can start some kind of a school where people can be given free education and their professional development could take place. So, this film was also a commercial success for Mahesh Bhatt, and it also raised the issue that if one is trying to achieve one's own ends through the illegal means, then one cannot be successful. The means, they should justify the ends. as once Mahatma Gandhi said, that even if your objective is to be achieve something, then the means, the kind of means which one should employ, they should also be just in nature. You cannot have your ends through unjustified means. This is what the idea of the film is. Then another film called Chahat, which was made in 1996. As you can see on the screen, this is Ramya's obsession for Shah Rukh Khan and Shah Rukh's love for Pooja Bhatt, as you can see on the screen. And Shah Rukh's role as a singer, and this film also became quite popular during this particular period. There was another film called Duplicate, which was made in 1998, in which Shah Rukh Khan was shown in a double role. As you can see on the screen as well, there's two characters, both of them they are being played by Shah Rukh Khan, and one is good and another one is evil, and finally the victory of good over evil takes place. So this film was made in 1998. So apart from the various kind of films which were being directed by Mahesh Bhatt, what we also find is that in the later part he was also writing films, and many of the films which were directed by other filmmakers, they were written by Mahesh Bhatt. For example, some of the important films in the later times which were directed by Mahesh Bhatt, for example Dushman, which was made in 1998, which was directed by Tanuja Chandra, and Sangharsh, which was directed by Tanuja Chandra. Both these films, they were directed by Tanuja Chandra, but both of them they were written by Mahesh Bhatt. Dushman was dealing with the issue of a serial killer, and Sangharsh was talking about sacrificial superstitions in the society. Mahesh Bhatt has been criticized in the later part of his life for writing such kind of stories which are considered to be thrillers, and these kind of thrillers basically they had a lot of skin showing by the female characters. So, but his take on this kind of a cinema was that he was not trying to show anything which was not happening in the society, and society has every right to see such kind of portrayals also. So this is what he personally believed, and at the same time what we have seen is that the kind of scripts which he has written over the years, they were also relating, for example Raj, in which he was talking about supernatural thrillers, etc. So in the retrospect, I would like to say that Mahesh Bhatt has been a really sincere and experimental kind of filmmaker who ventured his journey from realistic cinema of 1980s, and at the same time some of the autobiographical, semi-autobiographical themes which he has dealt, and at the same time he later adapted himself to the commercial cinema which was made in after 2000, that is the 21st century. Thank you so much.
Okay, on that note, I would like to thank sir for this discussion on Mahesh Bhatt's movies, and I hope that you liked it as much as I did, and I'd like to thank you dear friends for watching our show. Stay tuned and keep watching. Thank you.